Boom. Hello, everyone. My name is Adam Gorak. Welcome to the Ghouls Gone Wild podcast. Before I let my guest, before I let you introduce you my guest for today's episode, I would like to thank everybody who has been supporting this channel. It means a lot. And for the new listeners and people out there, don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and go and follow me on Spotify and on Instagram and on YouTube as well. But for my guest today, he's a good friend of mine. Um, he is a comedian, the podcaster, and he's also one of my good friends. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't been doing this podcasting today. But he's given me the opportunity to be his co-host for the last 3 years on Pinksock. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome the one and only Mike, the Afro Man, Usenick.
I said Colt 45 and Tuesday. Oh, wrong Afro Man. Sorry. What is up, brother?
Not much, dude. How are you? Nice to
I'm-
see you again.
It's amazing seeing you as always. How have you been, brother?
Flat out busy. I just finished a friggin' 45-hour working week.
I thought you were gonna say 45-hour podcast. I'm like, Jesus.
Oh, that will go down in history. No, I worked 11 days straight, man, and that fucked me up.
Jesus, bro. I'm on an 8-day stretch. I couldn't. I don't know if I could do 11 days now. Like I've done the whole work a whole month without a day off. Shit. Fuck that.
Oh, it's fucked. Yeah, like it's just like I did 10 doubles and one single shift, and yeah, it completely ruined me, man. After the seventh day, I was wrecked. Your
Bro,
body could tell when you need a rest and you're fatigued.
if it's not like my business, if I'm not like running it, I'm done like going above and beyond and fucking killing myself. I don't know. Unless it's like a friend's business I'm helping with or my own, like I'd fuck that. Like I'm not killing
Yeah,
myself for companies anymore. Fuck them.
yeah, exactly. Um, if I start coughing during this interview, I am sorry because my throat is kind of at the moment, but I'm doing okay. I've been, adding some turmeric powder into my coffee for my immune system. I just had turmeric powder, honey, and cinnamon inside my hot chocolate here with some oat milk. So,
So are you saying
yeah,
like you probably got the next pandemic? Like it's coming from Australia. You just caught it. You
maybe.
got it from a kangaroo.
Yeah, over a kangaroo, we got into a fight and yeah. No, it's just being overworked, dude. Your body shuts down,
It does.
and
Like I'll be honest, like I feel like I've overdone myself because I feel my body giving up. Like not giving up, but like shutting down and needing a break, like between pains and being tired and shit. But it's hard
yeah,
nowadays, especially when you're trying to do a podcast and be part of entertainment and like what you're doing and what I'm doing. You have to work a full-time job too, and that job don't give a shit about your hopes and dreams, at least from my experience. So you have
all they care
to
about, all they think about is like giving you the money for overtime, but
all
the
they
money
care
is
about
good.
all they care
Like
about
it's
is
just
their own money.
yeah,
That's all they
yeah,
care about. Bottom line. Because like in my situation, I'm working a job right now and I told them, hey, my podcast is doing this, I'm doing comedy, whatever. This is the hours I
yeah,
need. And they're like, oh, we'll see what we can do. I'm like, no, that's my availability. And then it's 7 months down the road and they're still scheduling me fucked up hours. I'm like, no, I told you. Like now it's your problem. It's not mine.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly right. Yeah, yeah. Some people just don't give a shit, man.
they
Um,
don't they claim they support you until they have to. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's that too. There's that too as well. But
so
before we get into this episode, and just on Instagram Live, we just want to give a shout out to Jackie and Alan Poe, um, watching on Instagram. If you are watching on Instagram right now, head on to YouTube and join in the fun, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe button too, please. But
I'm not seeing the comments for some reason on my end. I don't know why.
I don't know either. It's weird. Yeah, I don't know.
What up? What up, Poe and everyone else?
Yeah, yeah. So what's been going down in your rabbit hole lately?
I've been doing open mic comedy to try to get myself out there a little more. I have an open mic comedy show coming up. I believe it's the last Wednesday of this month. And I've
Yeah,
been doing the podcasting thing. Stand-up comedy is very, very different than what people think. Like a lot of people are like, all you gotta do is go on stage and talk, but that's easier said than done, especially in today's society where everybody wants to forget that that's a comedian and they're just saying shit that they think is funny. They're not speaking their actual mindset or their thoughts. They're just saying shit that they think is funny. So, like, I don't know, people take things way too seriously. And
yeah,
that fun shit. Like, I I find it funny anymore when like somebody gets offended by a comedian.
yeah.
I mean, you don't like what they said. That's cool.
I did see something on Facebook today. A father punched a comedian in the face for saying some racial words or something towards like young kids or some shit.
See, if you make you can make a racial joke or say
Mm.
something racial, as long as you're not coming from a place of hate and being racist. Um,
Yeah,
that's like Tony Hinchcliffe, for instance. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's the guy that does Kill Tony and all that.
yeah,
Um, he handled cancel culture in a way that not a lot of comedians do. He went on stage and there was this comedian before him. Now, whatever your thoughts are, hey, what's up, Jackie? I'm seeing your YouTube comments. I don't know why I'm not
yeah.
seeing Instagram,
I don't
but
know. Yeah, it
but
won't let me do one.
Tony with Kill Tony. Now, agree with what he said or not. Think whatever you want, positive or negative. But there was this comedian before him who was Chinese,
Yeah,
and he was making a lot of jokes at the time. There was a lot of tension amongst the Asian community and whatever. Well, he was making very like anti-white people jokes, whatever, but pro-Asian jokes. Well, Tony went on stage and he made a racial slur towards the man, jokingly using the C word, which is
yeah,
a very racist term towards Chinese people. And his point was, is you're doing very anti-white people jokes. Why can't I do anti-Asian jokes? Was
yeah.
his thing. Now, his thing was very different than the Michael Richards thing. Are you familiar with the Michael Richards thing?
A little bit, not too much of it.
Michael Richards, who played Kramer, went on stage and was doing his usual bit. And there was a
Mm-hmm.
black family in the front row. I believe they were a family. I'm not sure, but there was a black family in the front row and they were all talking whatever over top of him and said you're not funny and was like attacking him. And instead of taking it like a comedian does and like go back and forth and roast them, he decided to scream at them and use the N-word multiple times. That's not right.
Yeah,
If you're attacking another comedian or making jokes or roasting another comedian, that's one thing. Now, I don't know. Should you be canceled or have your name smeared all over the news for that kind of stuff? I don't think so. You had a rough night, post it on social media if you have to, share it that way, cool. But we have other major issues than worrying about what a comedian, because during that whole Tony thing, there was a bunch of acts of terrorism against Asian people and bombings and shit going on that the news wasn't covering. Instead, they were covering what a comic was saying on stage.
yeah,
Forget what the fuck somebody says. Fuck all that. Don't put that shit on the news. News is supposed to be about teaching or spreading actual news, not what a
yeah.
celebrity says. Who the fuck cares?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
But
sorry, I'm going to get back to what I was originally going to say though. I've been doing stand-up comedy, and I've got some comedy shows coming up. So keep your eyes open. I'm going to have reels out about that. I've been working on some material. I just did a show. It was last month on the 27th, I believe it was. It went really
yeah,
well. I had a lot of fun. Did you see those reels?
I did. Yeah. Did you see the promo picture I made for you for
Oh
this?
no, I did not. Let me
Give
look
me
at
a
it.
second.
Oh, you're gonna put
Um,
it up here. I forgot you could do that.
yeah. Yeah. No, you can't. Jokes. Give me a sec. Um, it was a good
But
one
if you
too.
want, you're good. If you want to, you are also more than welcome to post some of the reels that I put. Oh, that's awesome. I love that picture of me. Shout out to
Yeah.
my friend at AR Design and Photography. She's the one that took that photo. She's an amazing photographer. Amber Wright. She's fucking incredible, dude. Like she's my personal photographer. Very busy woman
Yeah.
though. I love that
That's
picture.
cool. Yeah, because underneath it says Mark Usenick does not play for the Beatles or something like that.
Yeah,
Where did that
I did it as a joke.
Okay.
Because I was on Facebook and I was a little medicated. And for those of you that don't know, we use that term because getting high is kind of like a negative, and I don't view cannabis as a negative. But I was going on Facebook and I saw like tour announcements, and I'm not trying to call anybody individually, but like I'm going to use some examples, such as like Paul Stanley solo tour. Now, this isn't what I saw, but like I've seen him do it before. Paul Stanley of Kiss, or like
Yeah.
Sebastian Bach, formerly of Skid Row. I saw a lot of that, and I'm like, you know what? Why don't I do that?
Yeah.
Mike Usenick,
Yeah.
not of the Beatles. Not,
No, I like it. You kind of look like the sheriff from Free from Hell.
oh my god, dude. Dude, I love shaving my goatee in various ways, and that's the one that I've been going to, the Frank Zappa
Yeah.
lemming shit. But I always have people tell me, they're like, your beard looks like you belonged in the Confederate War, and I'm like, oh my god, like I look like.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah. Uh,
So
yeah. That's a good compliment though. You know what I mean? Like,
right, like I love it.
yeah.
I love it. So
You
I got a
also,
question for you.
but you also look like Ron Jeremy.
I've been told that, but I don't do any of the things Ron Jeremy did.
No, you don't want to be doing that.
No, I'm not doing all that. Did you know he had narcolepsy?
Really? What is that?
It's when you randomly fall asleep. So, like,
Ah.
the last thing you want is to be a porn star with narcolepsy. Like,
And
fucking
then
just.
fall asleep on set.
That's like fucking. That's horrible. Like, that's like
Mm.
being a blind driving instructor.
Oh, could you imagine him being a driving instructor and that happen?
Oh, shit. So, I got a question for you. I know this was supposed to be interview, but I got a question for you. This is something I've wondered.
Yeah,
With the whole podcast thing, is that something you've always wanted to do, or is that just something that just fell on your lap?
kind of just fell on my lap.
Because I never knew if you wanted to be like in the public eye or if that's just something that happened.
Like I always like chatting to people, especially like that's the reason why I go to gigs and go to meet and greets to meet, you know,
Yeah,
the band, the artist, or whoever. But I kind of think of this like as like a meet and greet, but for free.
fair, fair. That's kind of why, like, I'm really weird. Obviously, you can tell by this conversation, I'm not very good with the Q&A kind of thing. Because
Yeah,
the way my brain works, I get a thought and it just comes out. Like I can't stick to what I have listed because it just happens. That's kind of like how my comedy is, because
Yeah.
times change, things are subjective for that moment. So like most of the time I have a set written, but it changes from the beginning of the night to when I go on stage.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. That's why I prefer not being the opener.
Yeah. And be
But
like the supporter or something.
I don't want to be the headliner. Don't get me wrong. I don't ever want to be the headliner, but I also don't want to be the first act. But if I have to, I will.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind. I've got shit written. Um, but for me with podcasting, and I know this is something you wanted to you we talked about in the past. Podcasting for me is kind of weird in a way because it's not necessarily that's what my dream was, but I've
Yeah.
always had I love talking to people. I've always wanted to do stand up, but I never really had the courage until recently to do so. But I've
Yeah.
always liked your like Howard Stearns or your like your radio show, but it was like video style back then. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. And then podcasting became kind of a thing. And one of the earliest memories of podcasting wasn't your Joe Rogans. This was before I really knew
Yeah.
about Joe Rogan doing a podcast. I knew of him, but I think this might have even been before he was doing his show. There was
Okay.
I was a big wrestling fan,
Yeah.
and Rob Van Dam had his own radio show. It was on a website called Blog Talk Radio. It was you could hear him talking and shit, but it wasn't video. But you called a phone number, and it was kind of like a radio show where you get like a producer. Shout out to my friend Nikki Starr; she was his producer at the time. Uh, she would answer the calls, so I got to talk to Rob a few times on the air, and that's kind of
Yeah.
what I wanted to do. And then video podcasting became a thing, and that's where this is. I guess that might have been podcasting before it was a thing. I guess,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that's pretty much what it was. But I don't know what in me gave me the courage because I was doing the radio thing on Blog Talk for a little bit, and then I quit. And I would always do it and then quit, do it and then quit, do it and then quit.
Yeah.
And then I guess in a way, when I saw Ryan doing it, shout out to Ryan Roxy of Alice Cooper. When I saw Ryan doing it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like I knew of Ryan. Me and Ryan kind of knew of each other around that time because I frequented Alice shows and I've ran into him and we chatted. But when he started doing the In the Trenches, which it's weird because I first saw him doing it when he did Trash Talk with Adika.
Yes.
Like I kind of want to do something like that.
Yeah.
And I spoke to Ryan a couple times and I was on he used to do those hangouts and I did that and I was starting to do Pinksock, but he really kind of pushed me to do it regularly because he kept promoting it. And I'm like, well, now I got to do it. And then that's,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's always a good thing too. Do you reckon like doing Pink Sock has helped you be more interactive with people, like doing stand-up comedy?
oh, absolutely. And it also has helped me in a way of, I used to care what people thought negatively or good. Um,
Yeah.
I used to focus more on when people said negative shit. Like I didn't like that joke, or I didn't like when you said that, or did it. Like I would have sucked if somebody tried canceling me. I would have locked myself in my room and cried. But I've gotten to the point where I've gotten so much love that the hate
Yeah.
don't matter. And even if somebody was loving me for a while and then don't like me, that's their perspective of me. That's their way that they handled me or you in that situation. I guess this is a good word of advice to anyone listening. How somebody perceives you doesn't necessarily mean how you meant it. It doesn't necessarily mean you are good or bad. That's just how they perceived it. That's how their ego took you. And it's kind of a self-reflection of them in a way. And that's just how any opinion towards you or anything is perceived is by perception. So you can't really let the way somebody else sees you or views you as defining your own character. You knew how you meant what you said. If you came from a place of hate, or you actually made somebody uncomfortable or assaulted them or whatever the crazy situation is, then yes, you should apologize. You should view it as a negative. But if you didn't come from a place of hate, then why? Why apologize?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I was going with the cancel culture in my opinion, my thing before. I was talking about, don't apologize unless you was coming from a place of negative.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So what was
So
your, I'm sorry.
no, I think you've already answered it, but like you've been doing Pinksock for what, 4 or 5 years now?
It's weird because it's been 4 years technically, but we're on season 5. I don't know how that happened, but this year
Yeah.
would probably be year 5. I think we started in 2000. Yeah, we started in 2019. So it's 4.5 years technically speaking, because we started
That's a
halfway
long
through the year.
that's a fucking long time for a podcaster to do that, eh?
It is, and it's also crazy because like a lot of people when they're doing something they give up because they're like, oh, it's not as big as I hoped it would be, whatever. They let their ego get in the way. But at the end of the day, you got to do it for fun, and if it takes off, it'll take off. It takes a while. It took Joe Rogan
Yeah.
years, and he was the talk show host of Fear Factor. If it takes him 5 years, who the fuck knows? But it's been
5 years. Took him 5 years to get where he's at, and then fucking Spotify and YouTube has got all of his rights to his episodes now.
Yeah, that's wild. But with Pinksock, it's kind of weird because I'm probably going to answer more questions because my brain just kind of goes. So I apologize if I'm interrupting or taking over. But
Oh, good.
the way Pinksock started, really was it was me and a buddy of mine, well, two friends of mine. We were going to be in a basement, and it was going to be just called Three Dudes in a Basement or whatever. We didn't really have a name at the time.
Yeah.
And we was just chatting in the basement, and there was a first episode that will probably never be released because that would get everybody canceled. It was just
Oh,
ranting and raving about how racist Clint Eastwood is, I guess, from my memory. And we were just chit chatting, but we needed a name, and this was when the pandemic was starting, but we didn't know how bad it was. So we was just chilling out in his basement doing it, and we had like 2 episodes at that point, but no name. Well, I was driving one day, and at the time, my buddy had a thrash metal album that he was working on, and he will say that the inspiration came from that of the name. It may have, I don't know, but I've always been into the obscure, the crazy, the wild, all that. And my brain one night I was driving, and I'm like, Pinksock podcast. It just rolls off the tongue. So I'm like, we're gonna go with that. Well, one of our friends kind of fell off doing it. I don't know exactly what happened, but he kind of fell off from doing it. So it's just me and that other friend of mine, and we started doing the podcast. And we was doing it this way because the pandemic was starting to take off. So we was doing it this way. We had a lot of great interviews, which wasn't the original plan, but it became an interview style, and he got busy with college, so he went off and did his college thing. So I was looking for a new co-host. Enter Adam Garak. Me and him knew each other from the whole in the trenches world.
it wasn't. It was in the trenches. Just making it clear out there.
What was you saying?
I said it. It wasn't grinder. It was fucking in the trenches.
Oh, that came later on.
Yeah. It was fake. There was fake profiles everywhere of us on Grinder.
Oh yeah, fake. I it's fucking funny because I don't know. I guess the reason why I joke about the obscure and the shit that most people don't want to talk about or joke about is because like I find it humorous that things in life exist, but we choose to ignore it because it's sensitive. When no, it exists. Life ain't that serious, people. But anyway, back to Grinder. I was on there once and they didn't sell coffee grinders. I was very confused. But me and Garak, back on topic. Sorry, my eyes are fucking itching. My allergies have been fucking acting up. But me and Garak met on In the Trenches. And Garak,
Yeah,
that's a cool name. So he appeared on Pinksock a couple times as like kind of a regular, like once a week, wasn't it? Or every now and again, whatever. You can go back and rewatch those episodes. It was just Grack randomly showing up. And at the time, I still had my original co host. And I had my original producer too. Shout out to Kathy. She reached out recently, asked me how the podcast was doing. The Stereotypes have new music coming out, so we might have Ashley back on the show.
that's
Ashley
cool.
Grant. You need to interview him. Um,
Yeah.
Ashley Zane
Why
Grant. Shout out to him.
why did it take you like 30 years to write an album?
Yeah, 40 years, dude. Get it right. But me,
Yeah.
me and Grack met through all of that. We hung out. He enters as a co-host. I asked him to be a co-host, and he's like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, man, fuck yeah." So he joined. So when he joined, it was a weird timing because Kathy was out too, because she decided to go out and do her own podcast, which I'm proud of her for doing so. Pinksock has kind of become the independent podcast to help other people get podcasts.
It has a
but
um
but she went off, did her own thing, has her own little once a month podcast, which is making a comeback. So shout out to her. Reignite. Keep your eye open. Uh,
so it's just been taking a bit of a break, hey.
yeah, she took a bit of a break. She's in Vegas right now, hanging out with the Garage Boys, another Pink Sock uh, alumni. I was trying to find the right word. Hanging out with them guys. But Kathy went off, did her own thing. Love her, appreciate her, all of her help over the years, and appreciate her doing her own thing. And I'm happy for
Hang on. Anders just left a comment on Instagram, which I just copied and pasted.
her. Would you say Pink Sock took off before the pandemic or with the pandemic? I want to say with because I can't really say if it took off before because it didn't get its name or start doing anything before the pandemic. You know what I mean? So I would say with. I think the pandemic helped because I gained a bit of a following. But now that we're not really after the pandemic because it's still here. But I would say it kind of died off a little bit. Like we had some live followers fall off due to the people going back to work
Yeah.
because most of the listeners are after work and all that shit. But I would say it kind of, I don't know if it really took off though. Like when people say take off, they think like millions of listeners and all that shit. But I think my peak was during the pandemic. And it's still going well. People are still listening. I appreciate everybody for listening, but it's hard to have a live podcast now with everybody back to work. And it's hard to find the right time with all the different times. Who asked that question? That was a good question.
That was Anders.
Oh, Anders. I love Anders. He's been
Oh
supporting
yeah.
since the fucking beginning too. That dude's amazing.
Yeah, and I was checking out for the people who was online on Instagram. Shout out to Nashville on the Rocks. They are a uh, music podcast, and they're actually pretty cool, man. She had Ryan Cook from the Ace Frehley band on her podcast, Chuck
That's
Garrick.
that's
Her
cool.
latest they just interviewed the drummer from Tesla.
That's cool. Hi, Leah. My friend Leah Rader is in the chat on my Facebook, at least. I don't know if you saw the comment, but she's got her own sticker company, Sticker Smash. Go check it out.
Yeah, Valkyrie AD is on watching this on Instagram. If
Sweet.
you guys find on Instagram, head on over to YouTube and hit that like button. I will appreciate that.
And if
But
you guys
carry on.
enjoy my company and want to see more of me, you can go to. Are you able to put this on the screen at the bottom so that people know? Because my last name, people get it wrong, but it's right there if you need it. Usenick.com. It has all my social media links if you want to follow, like, and subscribe.
Share the stream and put the Instagram stuff on.
I've got I don't know why Instagram don't pop up, but I appreciate you inviting me here, by the way. I would just like for you to know that.
That's all good.
Okay, Valkyrie AD just joined. We got the fucking Instagram shit up.
Yeah.
Andiers is such a good supporter, dude. He's been around since the fucking beginning. Yep, me too. And I can only speak for myself and for myself. It all started with trenches. No trenches equals no Adam. Okay, so that's fair. I wouldn't say no trenches would equal no me though. I I appreciate Ryan for all he's done. We've met each other through that, but I'm pretty sure I'd still be somewhat of podcasting. I just wouldn't have a co-host. Because it's something that's kind of been there, but he helped me meet the people that I've met. I'm not discrediting his influence.
Yeah. Now, I think Ryan has inspired a lot of people to start their own podcasts. Like, look at Connect.
Oh, yeah. Whatever happened to him?
It's just a busy dude.
Because I haven't seen Kanak in a minute. I haven't seen Funky either. I miss her.
I think she has a boyfriend now.
Oh, that explains a lot. Because it seems like nothing against anyone, because I've been that person. But it seems like when you get a significant other or like the opposite sex enters your life and you hang out with them and even if you're just friends with them, if somebody comes along, you seem to lose interest or lose connections with other people. Just people come, people go. That's life, I guess. But it just, because that happened to me recently with a friend, dude. Like me and this friend of mine was hanging out. And I don't know where I'm going with the story, by the way. I'm just ranting. So feel free to interrupt me and ask questions. But I had this friend of mine who like kind of like went distant or whatever, went rogue, which I don't ever take it personally. Sometimes it hurts depending on how close I was, but I try not to take it personally. People have their own journey in life. But they were kind of distant. So I respected that and I gave them their distance. But I brought it up and I asked them, and they were like, "Oh, you've been distant." I'm like, "No, I've been respectful. You've been distant. I've just been leaving you alone."
Yeah.
Well, apparently, I don't know where I was going with that, but like, I guess what I was going with is like people don't take shit personally when people distance themselves from your life because we're all on our own journey.
Yeah. Yeah. So have you got any cool guests coming up for Pinksock?
Any cool guests? Do I ever? Let me look. I got so many big guests, dude. I have John Lennon coming on. I don't have John Lennon. He's dead. Like he's dead as fuck. I don't think John Lennon's coming on. No, I do have some guests lined up. None really announced yet. But I do have D.A. Morris coming on Pinksock tomorrow at 9 p.m. We are going to be talking about kayfabe. Kayfabe is a mockumentary series. It's basically in the style of Spinal Tap, but it's pro wrestling.
Oh, nice.
I don't want to get too far into it and give away my thoughts on it, but it's a pretty good movie. Go check it out. Yeah, I also have stand-up comedian Dustin Chafin coming on. That is next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 6 p.m. LA time because that's where he's from. He's a pretty damn good comic. He usually performs at the Dry Bar Comedy. He's been on Sirius XM and many other places. You can find him, Dustin Chafin.
Nice.
Very nice.
I've been working on getting some guests on too, possibly Witch Grinder.
I need to hook you up.
Ronnie Simmons for Rose Tattoo said he wants to come to my house and do the podcast in one-on-one.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, he's friends with like Nikki Sixx and like the Atlas Cooper band. He knows Gilby Clarke. He was in Frankie's in the Stud, which was Gilby Clarke's daughter's band.
Dude, that's exquisite. I love that for you.
Yeah. Who else did he play for? He played for the Radskins, the band that
Redskins are
opened.
great, dude. I haven't heard that name in a minute. The last time I heard that name was when they opened for Motley.
Yeah, he was on that tour. Um, and he got to play in Madison Square Garden.
Dude, I saw them on that tour. They're fucking amazing. I'll have to look up more of their current music because it's been a while.
Yeah, who else? He played for Rose Tattoo, Richie Ramone. He was on Tommy Hendrickson's video clips
With
for his
Crossbone
no,
Scully?
no. I think it was for the first album.
Oh, shit.
The
Was that the
the
one with Give
Tommy.
'em Hell?
What's that? Sorry.
Is
No,
that the
no, no.
one? Okay.
It's the other one. It's a Tommy. I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah. He did a video clip for that. What else? He played for Frankie and the Studs. Rose Tattoo, I already said. Motor City Christ, I think it was.
Damn,
But
dude. A lot of heavy
that
hitting, man.
that guy, he's worked his ass off, and now he's got a new band called Ronnie Simmons and the Redback Spiders.
Damn. That's
And
fucking
he's
wild.
yeah, and one of my good friends is the drummer for his band as well.
Have you seen any good horror movies lately?
Yeah, I watched Abigail.
Abigail. Isn't that related? No, I'm thinking about Annabelle. Sorry. What's Abigail?
So Abigail is a vampire movie. So it's about a 12-year-old ballerina girl gets kidnapped by these people after her event because they found out that she has a rich dad and has all this money. So they figure they kidnap this girl. Um, they'll get
Wild.
the money until she went on crazy and they just start to realize she's a fucking vampire and starts ripping people to shreds.
I want to like make a vampire movie, but like not a horror movie. You know what I mean? Kind of like in the style of like True Blood, but like I want to make it so that like, but kind of like Twilight, where like the vampires like come out. You know what I mean? Like they have to
Yeah,
like come out as vampires, like
yeah,
kind of like if they're gay or whatever. That'd be cool.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, Ace and I talked about horror movies on the podcast 2 weeks ago.
do you
We were talking about he was talking about Dick Shock. Have you heard of Dick Shock?
Dick Shock? That sounds painful. No, I have not.
No, so it's pretty much it's a killer shark the shape of a penis or something.
So it's kind of like Teeth, but with
Yeah,
shark. That's weird. There's so many stupid ass shark movies though, bro. Like they need to quit. Like
I,
Sharknado.
I did watch Under Paris. It's a shark movie that's on Netflix and it's fucking good, dude. Should watch it.
I'll watch it. See, I'm all
But
for it.
French though, you got to put it into the English dub language.
Oh,
But
wee wee.
it's shit. It's shit when you listen to it in English because it's originally the movie is French.
So I gotta learn French to watch a goddamn movie.
Yeah, just put the subtitles on or something, bro.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that's good because you're like, if I gotta learn another language to enjoy the movie, I'm like, oh, I don't know. Is the movie that good? Like, what if I learn a whole language for one movie and the movie sucks?
Yeah. Anders is heading off now. Cheers, Anders, for coming on and hanging out with us.
Love you,
It's
Anders.
nice to meet you. But
Thank you for all
anyway,
your
man.
support, Anders.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Sorry if I sound like shit,
Dude, you
but
sound amazing. We need to do this more often because I don't get to see you too much nowadays. Oh
yeah, I
shit, that's
know.
right.
But what else have I been watching? I watched Shin Godzilla. No, I watched Godzilla minus one, the new Godzilla movie.
Oh, I've seen
Japan.
that. Did you see the commercial for the new Deadpool?
Yeah, looks cool.
It's coming out July something. I forget when.
Yeah.
I
Um,
haven't set my notifications because I'm gonna go see it the day of.
um, Yeah, I watched Godzilla -1. Then um I gotta watch Exorcist 3 because Ace Von Johnson told me it's one of the best ones since the original.
Wasn't Exorcist 3? No, I'm not trying to ruin this for you, but what wasn't Exorcist 3 the movie that like Jeffrey Dahmer was obsessed with?
I think so. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Because
But
I'm pretty sure that's the one. It was that and Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. He was obsessed with them because both of them, the villain had yellow eye contacts.
yeah, right.
So I'm not sure. It might be the movie. I don't know why I went into like serial killer, but this is a horror show, so that's I'm trying to stick with the horror.
He told me to do a recap of all the Exorcist movies and watch Exorcist 3 and skip Exorcist 2
Why?
because the second one was just shit.
Have you seen the Poltergeist remake?
Oh, is there a reboot of that?
It came out a few years ago. Yeah, there was one that came out I don't know how long ago it was, but there's a Poltergeist reboot. It was really good.
Yeah, right.
It was really fucking good, dude. I liked it. I don't know. Some people might not, but I loved it.
If it's done right, yeah. There's another movie I want to watch called In Violent Nature.
In Violent
It's sort of
Nature.
like a spin-off of Friday the 13th. I'll play it on here.
Don't get yourself copywritten in trouble or whatever.
It's we did it before. We mute the sound.
Oh, okay, that is right. You're allowed doing it if you mute the sound.
Yeah, it's all good.
So that means we can watch porn on here if we wanted.
No, I'll get cancelled.
No, you won't. By the way,
Well,
we can do that on OnlyFans. I'm starting one. I'm not even kidding.
ha 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 ha. Yeah. So this is like um this is sort of like Friday the 13th meets Cabin Fever.
Oh, it's from Sundance. You know it's good if it's from Sundance.
It's super violent. It's yeah.
Most Sundance films are. They're the ones that don't even make it to theaters.
This was in this will be on Shutter soon, but apparently the yoga scene was really fucked up.
So this kind of puts off Friday the 13th vibes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, I was just agreeing with you. Sorry, I agreed with you in a weird way.
Mm.
He wears a potato sack on his head.
Mm.
That's very reminiscent of Friday the 13th. Man, we should make our own horror movies. We should really do that.
That'd be cool.
In Violent Nature.
Apparently, when I uh when I had Eric 13 on, um he told me that he swam in Crystal Lake when he was a kid.
Really? Where's Camp Crystal Lake at? The real Camp Crystal Lake.
It's somewhere.
Camp Crystal Lake. Real location. Fuck it. Let's see this.
Yeah. Really excited to see it as well when it hits Australia.
Oh, who told you that they swam in Camp Crystal Lake?
Eric 13.
It's in New Jersey.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, he's a Jersey boy, so there you go.
That's what I figured. Him and our buddy AC Slade are both Jersey boys.
To say Bon Jovi.
Is Bon Jovi from Jersey?
I don't know. I think
He's a Jersey.
Jersey.
Joey.
Yeah, Violent Nature should be good. Apparently, this is just news as well that the guy that played Art the Clown is going to be Steamboat Willie.
Isn't Steamboat? I know Steamboat Willie is like Mickey Mouse, but isn't that going to be a horror movie version of Mickey Mouse?
Yeah, that's why they got the guy that played Art the Clown to play Steamboat.
So it's going to basically be a Terrifier and Mean One movie, but with Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
So they're just going to keep using that formula, but with different, but with different characters.
Friggin' so I don't know, but like me and a girl at work were talking about this, how there's gonna be like horror Disney movies and that now. And she's like, could you imagine if Walt Disney was still alive and he saw shit what's happening right now? He'd be pissed.
I'm going to go down a rabbit hole real quick. By
Yeah.
the way, shout out to Leah. Leah just made a point. No wonder it was easy for Jason to take Manhattan. He lived in fucking New Jersey.
Yeah, true.
But anyway, back to what you said. You said Disney would not be happy with the way Disney is today. When
Mm.
Walt Disney was alive, I don't know if you know this or not, but a lot of his cartoons he made was racist propaganda. He did
Yeah.
racial propaganda films with Mickey Mouse and shit. Like he did like during World War II, he did like Nazi shit. Like it's you can look it up. Like he did like blackface and like it's crazy. But like yeah, he'd be rolling over in his grave because they're not doing that. That's I just the one thing I don't like about modern Disney is they're fucking buying everything. Like
Mm.
let other companies exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't know. Well, I guess they're failing companies if they're selling to Disney, but
Yeah. But like
still.
even like on Disney Plus and stuff like that, like they're putting all horror movies. They put the first Omen on Disney Plus.
Well, I get it though. There's parental advisory, like you can set codes and shit to that. I mean, Deadpool's on Disney Plus, and we all know those are like rated R. So I don't know. I would,
Yeah. Well,
I would like to see them do Brothers Grimm horror movies,
yeah, maybe.
or
What
actually, sorry, good.
and I was gonna say, there's gonna be a Winnie the Pooh vs Mickey Mouse horror movie too.
Like from the creators of the Winnie the Pooh horror movie, or like a whole separate.
Maybe I just saw like a poster up on either Facebook or Instagram saying it's official.
Why don't they do like movies that people want to watch? Like
Well,
what?
well, like really big box office horror movies are lame to watch these days now, because they're just boring until you watch like some low budget shit, and those are fun to watch. Like I watched Exorcist Believer a few weeks ago, and I fell asleep watching it.
Dude, like I don't know, man. Like
Maybe it was horrible.
there's a lot of bad movies out there, but there's a lot of bad movies that I enjoy because I enjoy the campiness and silliness of it all. But
Me too.
did you know that I don't know why my brain thought of this, but did you know that Freddy versus Jason was actually originally planned on being Freddy versus Jason versus Ash of Evil Dead?
That would have been good.
That was the comic book series. That's what the comic book, that's the original plan. But from what I've read, Bruce Campbell was not available and they didn't want to recast. So they just went with Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, right.
Could you imagine how fucking amazing that would have been?
Well, um, like again, Ace Von Johnson was telling me that there is the original script to Beetlejuice.
Like the first Beetlejuice.
Yep, the original script was meant to be a horror movie.
Nice. With Michael Keaton.
I believe so, but I think let me check who it is. Um, Script.
Bro, the original script of Beetlejuice.
So
Did you know his
the early draft of Beetlejuice was written by Michael McDowell.
Malcolm McDowell? Isn't he the dude that played fuck? He played
Loomis. But
who?
it's not him. It's Malcolm. This is Michael McDowell.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Malcolm McDowell. I'm like, he's the dude that fucking was in Clockwork Orange and shit.
Yeah.
In the Stanley Kubrick films.
Yeah. So I'll pop it up for you. Because Ace was telling me that 2 weeks ago, like he read the original script when he was on tour because he was bored. He read the original script of Beetlejuice and it's horrific.
Was Michael Keaton like originally casted, or was it just like the early workings? Nobody was thought of to play anyone.
I think it was early.
That's crazy. Did you know his name isn't actually spelt like his name isn't actually Beetlejuice? That's not how it's spelt. They did that because it's easier for people to remember.
Fair enough. But
Beetlejuice's real name is pronounced Beetlejuice, but it's spelt B-E-T. I'm trying to remember how it's spelt. Betelgeuse.
all right.
It's named after the star Beetlejuice. So
Nice.
what are we're looking at the original script of Beetlejuice. I hate missing.
Oh,
All right, have a good afternoon, Leah. Thank you for joining us, dear. I hope all is well. Did you know the original script for Beetlejuice was a horror film and featured Beetlejuice as a winged reptilian demon that transformed into a small Middle Eastern man to interact with the Matilda and Deetsies. Lydia, sorry, I started off talking really loud, but I'm getting really into this. Lydia and the minor character with her 6-year-old sister, Kathy, being the Deets child, able to see the. Oh, shit. That's crazy. It was a fucking. Whoa, there was like sexual assault and everything else. That's wild. I wonder why they didn't stick with it.
I think what's his name? Tim Burton. Got his hand on it and changed it, I believe.
So Beetlejuice actually had a sequel. They had the script and everything written for the sequel. It was supposed to be Beetlejuice going to Hawaii. Michael Keaton didn't agree with it because it didn't make sense because Beetlejuice, the movie, the first movie, Beetlejuice was a very sexual being. He was very like dark, very like kind of an evil being, even in the original movie. Beetlejuice 2 was supposed to be more so like the cartoon that came out. It was supposed to be more childish and more nothing like Beetlejuice. Oh, shit, there's the whole script. Do you have a link you can put in the description or whatever for that?
Yeah, it's a PFD.
PDF, right? PDF file. It's dated for what date does it say? 1986. Makes sense.
Yeah,
Movie came out in 88. That is crazy.
I think Michael Keaton. Yeah.
Do you know what the budget was for this movie?
No, but I did because I know Beetlejuice 2 is coming out. Apparently, they went back to the original look of the movie, and Michael Keaton. I heard that Michael Keaton when he was filming, he didn't want to fuck up.
I heard allegedly Johnny Depp's in it. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard.
But yeah, this is the script,
The
dude.
movie. Damn. In March 10th, 1998, Beetlejuice became the first of more than 5.2 billion DVDs shipped by Netflix. It was the first DVD shipped by Netflix when they started doing that.
Oh wow.
Also, Beetlejuice had the budget of. Do you want to guess how much their budget was?
20 million.
15 million.
Close.
But it earned 74.7 million on the box office. That is crazy, bro. That's like not double, not triple, not quadruple. That is fucking outrageous. However, the story was still written by Michael McDowell.
Yeah. Kind of crazy though.
Yes. And also Larry Wilson. But the screenplay, like the actual movie we got, was by Michael McDowell and Warren Scarron, which is interesting because Larry Wilson was also the guy that did The Addams Family.
Yeah.
And also Little Vampire. Michael McDowell did Beetlejuice, and I think that's his only big movie he did.
At that time.
No, now.
Oh, okay.
No, I take that back. He did Alfred Hitchcock Presents, like one episode of that. He did Beetlejuice, which was his big thing, his huge, like, he wrote that. He helped, well, he didn't write it, but he helped do the screenplay, and he like came up with the story and everything. Tim Burton just directed it. He did Tales from the Dark Side. He did 11 episodes, and then he did one episode of Tales from the Crypt. And then he did a little bit of Monsters. He did the Tale of the Dark Side movie, and then that's about it. He hasn't done anything since 1996.
Well, there is a script online for Beetlejuice Goes to Hawaii or something like that.
Yeah, like it was done. It's all like they didn't agree on it because it was more of a family-oriented version of Beetlejuice. So it didn't make sense if you're going to do something, a sequel like that isn't like the original at all.
Well, even if they did do that, it'll probably turn out to be a flop.
Yeah, nobody wanted to see family-oriented Beetlejuice.
Yeah, exactly, man.
So the sequel is called Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice 2.
Oh, because I just looked it up and it says Beetlejuice is an upcoming American fantasy horror comedy. So they must have changed the title from Beetlejuice 2 to Beetlejuice, which is kind of funny because that means they're going to do a third one called Beetlejuice.
Then it just pops out of nowhere.
Right? Isn't that whole concept, though, based on Bloody Mary?
I think so. I think so. But, like, I haven't watched Beetlejuice in a very long time.
Bro, did you see who's been casted in Beetlejuice?
Yeah, Jenna Ortega.
No. She's amazing, but the role has been undisclosed, so nobody knows who they're playing. But Danny DeVito was casted.
Yeah, right.
Danny DeVito was casted. William Dafoe's in it.
Danny DeVito is Beetlejuice.
William Dafoe's in it, though. He's playing Wolf Jackson.
Yeah, right. I heard that. To move on from this, I've heard that Danny DeVito wants to do the Penguin again.
That would be cool. See, I think that Batman trilogy. I'm gonna get hate for this, but I don't care. I believe that Batman trilogy would have been better
Mm.
if Tim Burton would have stayed the director and producer for all three films. That whole trilogy was a clusterfuck because you had different writers, different actors, and a different director for each movie.
Yeah, and the one with Mr. Freeze, is it Batman and Robin or Batman Forever?
Mr. Freeze was Batman and Robin.
Yeah, that was like going towards that comic book vibe.
That one was actually pretty good. People kind of hate on it because of Arnold Schwarzenegger, but people also tend to forget that Mr. Freeze is, I think, German. And Arnold's not German, he's Austrian, so they kind of casted fucked up that way. But he would have had a thick accent regardless.
Yeah, true.
Uh,
But I still the best Batman trilogy is the Dark Knight series.
it was good. I liked the Burton era, but it would have been better if Burton would have stayed in charge. Because if you rewatch those movies, they had potential. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the first movie or not. How much you've watched it.
I've seen it multiple times. I watched it in 4K as well. It's fucking weird.
If you guys go back and rewatch it, the movie had Two-Face in it. Correct?
Yeah.
Now, what didn't make sense is Harvey Dent was played by Billy D. Williams, which is interesting. You decided to turn Harvey Dent into a black man, which is cool. I'm all for equality. You turned him into the guy who played in, I believe he was he played Lando in Star Wars, in the Star Wars franchise. That was his big thing.
Yeah.
But what didn't make sense is in the same series, in your sequel, you casted Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. So you have to ignore. Not only does David D. Williams not look like Tommy Lee Jones, could you pull up a picture of David D. Williams and Tommy Lee Jones next to each other if you're able to find it?
What was it?
Billy D. Williams and Tommy Lee Jones. If you're going to cast two people, at least make them look alike.
Bailey. And what was his first name? Sorry.
Which one?
Not Tommy Lee Jones.
Billy D. Williams. Keep in mind, they are playing the same person in the same franchise, and Tommy Lee Jones played in the sequel. They completely ignored the first movie, Two-Face, and they tried to play it off that they are the same person.
Well, I reckon that's like multiverse.
Bro, pull up a picture of them too. They don't look anything alike.
But like originally, Harvey Dent is meant to be African American.
I'm not sure about the comics, to be honest. But even if they tried to like change his race, at least make them both the same looking person. Look at that. They are not the same person. They don't look alike.
That was the before and after look.
Like, did fucking Two-Face end up with that fucking disease Michael Jackson had? Like, what happened? They don't even explain what happened to Harvey Dent. They're like, oh, yeah, here's what happened to Harvey Dent. He fell in a vat of acid and is missing half his face. Yeah, but why is the other half of his like, you understand where I'm like, nobody's gonna do this.
But then if you watch the Matt Reeves Batman, Harvey Dent is Commissioner Gordon, because Harvey Dent isn't really introduced into that movie yet. But Commissioner Gordon is African American.
Yeah, and I don't mind changing the race of characters. I don't care because they're fake characters. I don't mind. The only time I would care is if a race was changed by somebody. And the only reason I had an argument about the Batman is because you have two of the same characters.
Yeah.
But like you don't explain. What would upset me though is if like they came out with like a Malcolm X movie starring like fucking like Jonah Hill, or if they Like if you change the race of like real people, then I bat an eye. Like, could you
Yeah,
imagine the JFK movie starring Samuel L. Jackson? Like that wouldn't make sense. But,
yeah,
but like
that's true.
fake characters is fine. I mean, the original Harvey Dent didn't even have a race. If you really want to look at it, when he was first introduced, they were trying to tease who he was, so his whole face was blacked out. Like you couldn't even see who he was.
Yeah.
Like I want to get stickers that say I believe in Harvey Dent. Like
Yeah, yeah. Even like Harvey Dent in the Dark Knight movie,
mhm.
he was great.
It scared the hell out of me when I first saw it because that was the first time you saw Two-Face with an actually burnt face.
Mm,
Before that,
yeah,
it was cartoony.
yeah, and the Joker as well.
I always laugh at the first ever Joker because people tend to forget. People are like, talk about like Jack Nicholson's Joker, which is amazing. It's one of my favorite Jokers. They even made a whole comic series based on his Joker. But there was
Yeah,
a Joker before that.
yeah,
The Joker before that had the actor had a mustache. He was famous for having a mustache.
yeah.
But instead of shaving his mustache and putting Joker paint on, he put Joker paint over top of his fucking mustache. I would have just recasted the Joker altogether. But no,
Yeah.
oh boy, has a
Isn't okay, so isn't the Joker gay and like he's had like this obsession with Bruce Wayne and Batman?
that's a very weird take, a very interesting take. I never heard that before. I always heard that the Joker and Batman are actually brothers. They were
Mm,
separated at birth, and
well,
Joker has an obsession with Batman. Because if you look at it,
yeah,
even the gay theory makes sense.
yeah. Because
Because go
have
ahead.
you seen the Joker movie? How the one what's his name? Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah, Wagon Phoenix.
Yeah, how he stalks Thomas Wayne and saying that, "Oh, why don't you love me, Dad?" And he's like, "Who are you?" You know, you know,
It's
you,
very
you met,
interesting because
yeah. Because I reckon there's a connection between those two there.
it's very weird because the Joker's the Joker's sexuality I don't think was mentioned, but they hinted at him being a homosexual. But
Mm,
he would also have to be bisexual because of the whole Harley Quinn thing. But you can also say that during the time period of when the Joker was the Joker, when he first came out, homosexuality was very frowned upon. So maybe he was closeted. I don't know. But it's very interesting because his obsession with Batman, it makes sense because the Joker never tries to kill Batman.
no, but then I'm just reading this up now quickly. Um, the Joker and Bruce Wayne are not related.
Hmm. Well, it's hard to fucking tell what comic book characters are what because there's so many different storylines from so many different people.
That's why I don't like the different timelines in movies. They should just try and keep it all the same, like they did with Scream and all that stuff.
That's kind of like comic books. There'll be 3 or 4 different series at the same time from different writers, and you're like, which one's like, just pick one you like, I guess.
Yeah,
Did you ever
yeah.
watch or read the comic? I think it was Death in the Family. It was the one where the Joker had his face cut off and he
No,
fucking stapled it back on. That was a dark fucking comic.
why didn't they make that as a movie?
They did. It's a cartoon movie though. It's starring Mark Hamill as the Joker.
Uh,
It's a great fucking movie. What is your time limit today? Because I don't.
probably finishing it up now. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning here
Do you
now.
have any questions for me before I go that was unanswered? Because I kind of like answered questions that you didn't ask.
No, So what's next for Pinksock? And what's next for your comedian tour thing that you're doing?
Okay. Pinksock tomorrow live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be talking about kayfabe. It is a satire mockumentary about pro wrestling. Very silly, very funny. It's actually on YouTube for free right now.
Yeah.
Also, my stand-up comedy. I'm going to be doing an open mic night in Wheeling, West Virginia, at the Waterfront Hall. It is completely free. As far as I know, it is on the 26th. If it changes, follow me on usenick.com. I'll let you know. I've also got a gig July, God, I want to say the 14th or 13th. Just follow me at the website to make sure. But I'm going to be performing in Blair, Ohio at the Hidden Hills Event Center. And then I also am going to be performing at a festival in July. I will let you guys know exactly when in July. I've also got one in September. Between there and then, I'm going to be performing at open mic comedy nights. So keep your eye open on my website because sometimes things just randomly pop up.
Nice. Well, thank you, Mike, for coming on. But before we end this, I'd like to give a shout out to Nashville on the Rocks podcast, who are supporting me right now, and I support them as well. Go check out them on YouTube, Spotify, and I think Apple as well. Also like to thank Chuck Shoot, another great podcaster that's been supporting this podcast. I had him on as my guest. Awesome dude. Also, I would like to give a shout out to the Rock and Roll Coffee Show, another podcast as well. It's music and coffee built together. It's a great podcast. He's had some great guests on, and obviously you. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing this. Also, another shout out to Mark Jabrino. You've been pretty quiet on the internet lately, mate. Where's your what happened to your screenshots episode, bro? But yeah, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Mark's channel. I've got merch for sale. Make sure to buy yourself a hat, a mug, which I got some samples here.
Dude, I love your hat.
Some hat. I got a coffee mug that's in the kitchen with all my 20 other million coffee mugs. We got a beanie. So there you go. Hang out.
Dude, you got everything. I got merch too, by the way. I forgot to even mention. Just hit me up for it. I got 2 shirts.
Yeah.
Pinksock shirts.
But guys, make sure to follow all those people that I mentioned, and follow Mike, follow me, and be nice to each other. Don't be a dick. And stay spooky, everyone. I'll see you all next time, guys. Peace out. And my throat feels like shit right now. Peace.
Love y'all.